Imagine opening your wallet one morning and finding it empty. Not because you've spent everything, but because money has vanished as a concept. Paper has become just paper, the numbers in your bank accounts meaningless zeros. Not a single terminal works anymore. No coins are accepted. The world is plunging into a state not seen since the most ancient civilizations. People don't yet understand what's happened, but they already sense the breath of chaos. Half an hour after the money disappears, the first pillar of civilization collapses, the banking system. People stand in lines, but the employees shrug their shoulders. We have nothing. It's not working. Banks are the lifeblood of the economy, but now the lifeblood has evaporated. Securities leave the buildings. Customers pound on the glass in despair. Banking infrastructure is turning into a useless labyrinth of empty branches. When money disappears, customers disappear too. But so do the merchants. They no longer have anything to earn for their work. The shelves are full of goods, but no one can take them legally. Clerks stand in the store, guarding the products not from robbers, but from chaos. The initial shock gives way to panic. People realize they can't even buy bread. Humanity recalls an ancient reflex: barter. Someone trades a pack of pasta for batteries. Someone trades a jacket for medicine. The first absurd transactions appear: a person exchanges an expensive designer bag for 3 bottles of water. The value of things becomes sensitive and emotional, not market-based. Transportation collapses. Bus drivers go home, taxis disappear from the streets, gasoline deliveries are stopped. People walk, thousands of steps creating a strange, dark hum on bridges and highways. Cities forget about cars, as if humanity has gone back hundreds of years. Doctors are not paid. But they continue to treat, out of habit, out of duty, out of human nature. However, medicines are no longer supplied. Education returns to the format of ancient schools: no diplomas, no grades, only pure knowledge. When money disappears, the rush disappears. No pay, no deadlines. People live by natural rhythms. Work in the morning, rest in the afternoon, meet in the evening. The world seems to return to centuries ago, but with the memory of modern civilization. It doesn't matter whether you were a billionaire or a pauper, everything is reset. No one can buy influence, health, or security anymore. The value of all people becomes equal until society rebuilds the hierarchy anew. This is a moment of rare equality, almost utopian. Those who know how to speak, negotiate, and inspire become leaders. Not the richest, not the strongest, but the wisest. Leaders of new communities rise naturally, simply because people begin to trust them. Tools become gold. Clothing, silver. Food, diamonds. The world is redefining what's important. People are beginning to cherish things the way they once cherished money. Without money, the police disappear, they don't get paid either. But criminals' motivation also disappears, there's nothing to steal. Conflicts arise over resources, not profit. Fear changes form, but it doesn't disappear. Paradoxically, the disappearance of money unites people more powerfully than any crisis in history. Communities come to an agreement. Cities exchange resources. New trade routes emerge, without merchants, without currencies, only based on needs. In a world without money, there's no reason to pretend. There's no need to demonstrate success, status, or brand. People communicate directly with each other, through character, kindness, and the ability to listen. The world becomes more honest, more humane. Without money, the illusion of progress disappears. What remains is reality. What we can do. How we care. How we live together. Human culture changes, perhaps forever. In a few months, the world will stabilize. Communities unite into federations. Access to medicine is now based on exchange. Surgery for help, medicine for food. And everyone understands, life has become literally priceless. Without money, the traditional family structure collapses. Those who used to earn a lot are now worthless. And those who could repair appliances or cook become key figures in the home. Relationships are restructured around utility, not income. For many, this causes a crisis, for others, it brings true freedom. Cities are beginning to unite into small, independent groups. People divide responsibilities, some cook, some grow food, some guard the territory. New mini-societies emerge, reminiscent of post-apocalyptic settlements, but built not on fear, but on cooperation. National governments are losing control. Without money, it is impossible to pay the military, officials, and rescue workers. Countries are bursting at the seams, regions are breaking away, cities are separating. A border is no longer a line on a map, but the ability of a group of people to provide for themselves. Where there is no money, surrogates appear. Some declare that salt is now valuable. Some, fuel. Some, medicine. New currencies emerge, but they are all fragile, because the world has not yet found its new foundation. Marketers, financial analysts, and brokers become meaningless. Valued become doctors, farmers, mechanics, and builders. The world is replacing economics with a list of genuine human skills. Everyone begins to ask themselves, what can I do with my own hands? Without money, the ability to buy respect disappears. Status is now determined solely by how you help others. People become closer. But also harsher. If you're useless, you're pushed away. For the first time in a long time, the world is becoming honest, but frightening. Schools are closing. Universities are emptying out. But knowledge suddenly becomes more valuable than ever. People gather around campfires and listen to those who can teach them how to survive. New forms of agreements emerge, where value is measured not by numbers, but by utility. This order is crude, imperfect, but it works. Humanity lives differently. Less technology, more interaction. Less rush, more meaning. When money disappeared, some regions began to transform into strange, gray zones, places where no one trades, exchanges goods, or provides services. People become completely autonomous, they grow food, repair tools, build shelter, and interact with little or no one else. This seems like a step back to prehistoric times, but for some, it's freedom, because they no longer need to ask, explain, or negotiate. They are completely independent. However, such zones are dangerous. There are no laws, no oversight, no rules. If something happens, no one will help. Some begin to create their own microstates, where the value is no longer goods, but the individual. The more people disconnect from global society, the more the world turns into a patchwork of independent mini-cultures that no longer recognize common norms. When a unified value system disappears, people begin to invent their own. In one city, artistic ability is valued, and artists become the local elite. In another, strength is valued, and those who can protect the community rule. In the third, knowledge is revered, and scientists become the new spiritual leaders. Values cease to be universal, now each group defines them for itself. This makes the world unpredictable. A person considered a nobody in one place may be practically a god in another. People begin migrating not for work, but for recognition. They go where their skills matter, where their identity becomes a resource. After several months of chaos, countries begin to understand, without a universal equivalent of exchange, the world simply cannot function. International organizations are trying to create new analogs of money, not in the form of digital currency or crypto, but in the form of standardized values. These could be units of energy, hours of labor, the amount of a resource produced, or even the social utility of an action. But conflict arises. Who decides what is useful? Who determines the worth of a teacher's hour compared to an engineer's? Attempts at standardization lead to heated debates, diplomatic crises, and mass protests. People realized that money was not just a mechanism of exchange, it was a way to negotiate peace. And returning to a common agreement is now incredibly difficult. A year passes. The world is no longer recognizable. Money truly is gone, and no one is trying to bring it back. People have learned to live amid endless exchange, a complex web of contracts, personal values, and mutual dependence. Cities have become slower and quieter, but humanity has suddenly become more attentive. People can look each other in the eye again. However, the disappearance of money has left a huge mark. Civilization has lost its former speed of development. Many technologies have slowed, and some industries have disappeared. But instead of the pursuit of profit, a different goal has emerged: survival and maintaining balance. People have become closer to one another, but the world has become simpler, almost too simple for a species that once dreamed of the stars. Now the main question: is progress necessary without the motivation provided by money? Or has humanity, for the first time, found a path where value is created not by economics, but by life itself?